All right, we're starting late. I'm a mess, nothing's set up, and we're not going to do the planned topic today. So fuck it, YOLO. Chill chat, not going to tell anybody about the show. None of the notifications didn't fire, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm here. I barely made it up in time. What can I say? Literally almost didn't. I don't fucking know. It's bad. Everything's bad. Forget it. We're not even really doing this. There'll be like 2 of you who come. Don't worry about it. Don't even be concerned. So if Julia, please tell me you didn't make. Okay, phew. No, she didn't. Yeah, don't worry about it. The show's gonna suck. We're all gonna suck. Everything's gonna suck. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Julia, I know you came today because everybody actually wanted to talk about NFT showroom, but I thought, okay, well, we'll wait 1 more week. We will celebrate the correction of our contract, and then everything will be magical, and it'll be fabulous, and it'll be wonderful. But what it meant is that I just, once again, barely fucking made it up here on time, because of course I did. Of course I did. Why would I ever have a good show that worked? Also, YouTube chat isn't going to work, because fuck that. I didn't get here in time to set that up. Nothing will work. Nothing will work. I'm a terrible fucking live streamer. So at this point, if you want to go, please go. Why do we even... I haven't yet understood why I continue to do this show, because I'm just so fucking bad at it, and I can't entertain you guys week to week. So I had some stuff that I wanted to talk about today, and it was all kind of around NFT showroom, and it was all sort of to do with our great upgrades, and I still do want to talk about them, but the reality is we want to announce that. We want to get the NFT artists in here. We want to get all of the community in here. So frankly, I'm in another mood where I just want to turn this off because it's such a waste of your time and mine. Yay! Positive live streamer. So for those of you who are here just for pity, feel free to leave. For those of you who just want to like chill chat and maybe listen to some music and whatever else, then maybe we could do that. I don't know. I've got to kind of just make up a show on the fly. And while I do normally do that, I'm usually a little bit better at it, but yeah, today is whatever. I had a friend stop by just briefly. He popped in to drop something off, and poor Lou, it freaked her the fuck out, and she peed herself, and so I had to clean up the downstairs and calm her down, and just, yeah, it's been, what else is new? I suck at this, and it upsets me that I suck at this. So, don't be like this person. Oh, I don't know. I'm guessing she's just gonna fall down, which is great. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even really want to do the show today, but I'll give it an attempt. I'll find some stuff to talk about. I'll find some Hive stuff or whatever else. But yeah, expect nothing. And check the schedule, because there'll be much better shows on later today, like Loud and Proud, and Coffee and Philosophy. And if you're just watching Crim stream, come back on Thursday. Come back next week for NFT showroom talk. Come back for like good stream versus just frustrating stream. Also, the friend that came over, when he left, he decided to go to the pub right next to my house. And every fiber of my being wanted to join him, wanted to just blow off today and join him. But I didn't. I'm here. An attempt was made. So with that being said, I'm very glad none of the notifications fired. I'm not going to give anyone any notifications. I'm not going to start any of the streams or let anyone know that this is happening, and fuck it. So let's kind of go over let's go over some of the stuff that we need to. Rock more Iron Maiden. No, John, you've been coming to this show for like months now. You know that's not this show. That's not how it works. Also, I caught some heat for playing Iron Maiden on Thursday, the new Iron Maiden track, which I thought was quite hilarious. I got some more like snippety DMs saying that the new Iron Maiden is trash, and only trash people like Iron Maiden in the first place, that they're overrated, that they're an old band, that everything they do sucks, that this new music sucks, and it's pandering to like a shitty audience, and that it's, you know, whatever. It's yeah. So I can't even full force write. But the reality is everybody likes different music. Don't be that person. Don't be that person who puts people down for enjoying things. But also, don't be that person who tells someone they have to like something either. I truly don't care. Just be kind to each other. This Miss me with that shit, kids. So, yeah, I'm kind of annoyed because there were so many things I wanted to do. Nick sent me this killer fucking Desolation Plains tank top, but I haven't shrank it yet. So as you can tell, like, the problem with Gildan Heavy Cotton in unisex is they're not built for women. So it fits my tits, but this is what I get. I actually am going to have to shorten it because I've got this nice, like, pouch that I could carry, I don't know, some small marsupials in or whatever. And if I pull it all the way down, then it's like man side whatever. Anyways, it's just, so I wanted to play some Desolation Plains music because he's one of our NFT showroom artists, and I had some other stuff. So I'm literally just going to take all of it and take it to next week. And this is just going to be whatever chat today. Just whatever chat. So expect nothing, get nothing. Yeah, it is. I hate to say it, but I'm so not a fan. I'm so not a fan of Gildan in general. But the reality is artists are trying to find stuff that they can make a profit on. Artists are trying to find stuff that takes a print really good. You know, especially small independent artists. They're looking for stuff that is affordable for them to make merch. It's a hard game out there. It really is. It's scary to make your own merch. And especially in this case, it's scary to spend the big bucks really quality printing something without knowing if people are going to buy it, and you're going to get stuck with it. And if you're, you know, your sales are, you're just building your brand or your artistry or your merch shop or whatever, it's hard. So yeah, I'm going to have to do some adjustments on this because this is the smallest it comes as well. So what are you going to do, man? Who is speaking? Who do you think is speaking? Is this a recording? No, it's not. I guess I can get in the live on air room if that's going to make you feel good. It's Crim. It's always Crim. It's always been Crim. There's no reason to think that that's changed. But we're just saying that the planned show today, out the window. And for any of you who want something good, that's not today. So peace the fuck out. We're going to have like 10 people here today, max. And we're just going to talk about random shit because I'm going to save all the stuff that I was supposed to talk about today next week. Don't, you're lagging. Oh, you're lagging. Okay. Well, what else is? There's no, everyone's high. So yeah, if you guys want to talk about something in particular today, you can. I'm going to figure out this particular situation and making the best of it. So yeah, you guys are drinking and deep diving, and everybody that I haven't seen in a while is showing up for a fucking show that I haven't prepared for. Neat. So I do have some music, and if you're expecting me to be perky and chipper and happy and good entertainment today, you're not getting it. But as long as you recognize that, then that's fine. And we can talk about some other stuff. I feel like the mug will be very appropriate today. Let's just... For those of you who can't see the video, I'm just a long, slow pull off the sorry mug. All right. So, while we're at this, for those of you who are here, next week, what we'll try and do is we'll try and let everybody know, and we'll try to get some hype around it, is that we finally got a bunch of the upgrades to NFT Showroom done. This is so exciting for us because not having auctions, you're hearing it. Oh yes, we could do some coffee ASMR. Bitchy Crim speaks not at all, just drinks coffee awkwardly in your ear. No fucks given. Oh, Bitchy Crim. Bitchy Crim she's a treat, let me tell ya. She's a fucking treat. You heard the swallow? Okay, good. Because I had the microphone right to my throat. But so, yeah, next week we'll tag everyone and we'll get some artists and we'll talk about it. Because, yeah, NFT Showroom, if you don't know, and many of you do, and many of you don't, whatever, we are... We are a team around here. A lot of us are DJs, or we're involved in MSP Waves, the broadcasting network, or we're involved around the blockchain or whatever. But a lot of us are artists and creatives, and you know, are spearheading. Aw, Azaria, you don't have to show up. It's okay, Azaria. I know this is not your bag. We're not going to talk about it today. Don't come. It's fine. Leave. So. We're really excited because one of the biggest problems with our platform There are very few. We are built on a great blockchain. We are perfectly poised to create fast, free, easy to use NFTs on a great blockchain with a whole connected social network, all this other stuff. Oh, because it's art, because I know you come because you feel bad for me and, because you love me, but that you really don't like anything I do. And so I just felt bad because I thought you showed up only because it was supposed to be NFT showroom. So I was just absolving you. If you wanted to go lay in the dark with the cats, then you would be free to do so. But if you're gonna stay, that's fabulous because I love you and I want you to stay. But I mean, I will take absolutely no offense if people are like, that's me out. So NFT showroom, the big problem was we never had auctions, and auctions are tricky. And so for many of you that may not care about the art aspect but do care about the blockchain aspect, there's a reason that NFTs are so cool. And so we talk about a record of provenance on the blockchain, and we talk about, it's so cool. I know who made it. I know everybody who's had it. Is the show today how the show isn't a show? I could, sure, no problem. I could easily just talk about how much I suck and how much I'm not going to say anything. It would be a challenge for me to fill 2 hours with how fucked up and bad I can be on a good, bad day, because I can be real shitty. I could be the worst DJ. I could talk about that for hours, but that's not what we're going to talk about. That's like Seinfeld. I hate Seinfeld. Seinfeld is trash. I mean, hot take. Show about nothing, sure, Julia, but it's also just not funny. There's no funny jokes. There's no funny characters. And the whole thing just makes me want to cringe. Why do people like Seinfeld? Why do you like Seinfeld? What's wrong with you? Seinfeld is trash. Oh, the hummingbirds are back. Yay! I just filled my feeder. So let's come back to this. Let's come back to the auction thing, though, because I feel like it's kind of a cool little topic to explore. So we know that we love NFTs on the blockchain for that history of verified creation, verified scarcity, knowing everything about it and having that carry. Honestly, think it was one of the best TV shows of all time, but why? I've tried so many times. It's just like people who think the Beatles were the best. I've tried so many times. I can find zero redeeming qualities in Seinfeld or the Beatles. I understand its place in history. I understand why Beatles on at the time. My bad. I didn't read. I assumed you're TV watching. How dare. Fuck. I think I'm going to trigger people, and I don't care. Hot take, CyberBuzz! Have the mug again. All right, so one of the most important parts of NFTs are the abilities to have smart contracts. And so we have certain contracts available to us on the Hive Engine platform that allowed us to create an NFT show, the NFT showroom that you know and love. But we didn't have auction functionality at first, and that's a really important part of art. It's an important part of art in the traditional sense, and it's an important part of art in the crypto space as well. And one of the big things around that is hype, is competition, is enjoyment. There's something very engaging about an auction, and in a lot of cases we often don't know we want something until someone else wants it. And that's a tricky thing, because if you make an offer on a statically priced piece of art, no one else kind of sees that. There's so much art, there's so much out there. And so an auction kind of creates this little time-limited bubble that draws people in, that you see other people are bidding, it comes up in the top to, people are sharing it. There's always sort of something about an auction that gives more time and more drive and more interest. And it also allows the market to price out art, where a really important aspect, and something we've kind of talked about in the creative space. Yes, the most wrong opinion. Shane, tell me why you like Seinfeld, because it's terrible. Tell me why you like the Beatles, because they're terrible. Tell me about these things and justify it, because frankly, it's all crap. It's all trash, and all my opinions are wrong today. And CyberBuzz is like, but I accept. Okay, so with that being said, first justify the terrible. I don't have to justify anything. They are crap. They're not funny. They are they're very, inane was the word that I was looking for, but I don't have to justify not liking something. But when somebody makes a statement of, this is the best show of all time, that requires justification. Me being like, I hate this and it's bad, I don't have to justify that. It is bad. There are so few redeeming qualities. I demand justification without offering your own. Correct. Absolutely correct. Because I'm not making a claim like this is the best album or the best TV show of all time. I'm saying I hate this and I cannot understand why a single other person would like it. Tell me why. So, with that being said, if you'd like to argue about it, have at it in the chat. Go for it. So what we were talking about is that NFT Showroom didn't have auctions, and we were just touching on how auctions are a really important part of the creative process, the sales process, how they drive people to get engaged with art, but they're also part of price discovery. And there are two really important aspects to art. What you want people to pay for your art is important, and you shouldn't compromise on it. And you did claim that they suck, but just by a large amount shows you're in the minority. That's wrong. So literally what you're telling me is the majority always rules. Shane, I do not want to live in your world. I'm sorry, my friend. And that would mean, by and large, a huge chunk of your music taste is now invalidated because you like a lot of weird off-the-cuff stuff that other people don't like. I guess everything you like is terrible. That's too bad. Okay, so coming back around. Pricing art is difficult and it's subjective. And so one of the things that you may feel is your art is worth X amount and you put it at a certain that every artist needs to learn. But for some people, one of the things that they want to do is explore what others and what the marketplace and what sort of trends dictate people want to pay for art. So long and short of it is, NFT Showroom couldn't do auctions before. And so one of the most important things that's been going on in the background is that auction smart contracts have been in the works so that NFT Showroom could begin offering auctions. Now, we're going to talk about this all next week on a good show that matters with people trying. And by people trying, I mean me. And caring, I mean me. But for this week, I just figured we'd touch on it. One of the reasons that we are skipping things this week is all of that happened. We tested it. We got the smart contracts. It looks amazing. It's working well. People are really excited. But there's always a catch. And there's always a but when you launch something this big. Buts tend to show up wherever you least expect them because they're always in existence, but they're hidden. Or you don't notice them at first until they get right up in your face, and often they stink. But there was a small problem with one of the timers. And so what that means is that the smart contracts that run auctions on, we didn't test not bidding at all. And this is a funny thing. This is a great sort of insight into testing any website, any piece of software, anything like that. And so people always ask, like, hard forks or new websites, new features, how do you know what to test? You don't. You really don't. And so we were so incredibly focused on launching auctions that we would make an auction, everybody would bid on it, everybody would get excited, we'd test all the different ways of paying, canceling bids, retracting bids, outbidding each other, testing the emails that come on bids, launching multiple bids on the same piece, even though who's going to do that? Who's going to, but we thought we had everything covered off, and what we did not test was making an auction and then just not bidding on it. And so what is happening is that there is a timer, because for a while there we thought, okay, well there are some popular auction formats out there, and there's many different types, and some are, the auction doesn't start until the first bid is made an offer. But for NFT Showroom, we thought, okay, you pick the time that you want this auction to run, and anywhere in that time period, you can settle for a price that's been made, and anybody can bid over your minimum bid. And it gives you the most control, and it gives collectors the most control. And so we thought that's a perfect way to do things. Gabriel's trying to say I sound like a Seinfeld joke. I guess. There you go. But I never claimed to be great either. I literally started this show by saying I'm fucking terrible and it's going to suck. So if anything, more proof! More proof. Literally filling airtime. I'm literally talking about nothing today. So who's the idiot for staying? I'm looking at all of you guys. If you're not watching the video, you can't see me looking at you. But if you are watching the video, I'm looking at you right now. I'm questioning your choices, friends. What's the deal with the auctions? Isn't that a sign? Like, that's a Seinfeld thing, right? That's literally Jerry Seinfeld's whole career. What's the deal with the auction? Can't impersonate him because I don't know him. But I know he kind of has this like, there you go. Seinfeld. I'm as good as Seinfeld. Take it or leave it. We had this idea that, there's a type of auction that is every time there is a bid, it triggers 24 hours to let more people bid. This is a popular type. Crim is Seinfeld confirmed. This is a popular auction type out in the world. And when we started developing these auction types, we thought this would be interesting. And then we realized, no, we're going to work with this one main auction type. However, that little timer, that annoying timer that's like, hey, 24 hours after the last bid, everything ends. Just that timer didn't get taken out. And so what that means, there is no possibility of dogs. I'm sorry, Viking, there's just no possibility of dogs today. Lulu has literally already fear pissed herself, which is part of why I was late to the show today. I am absolutely not going to drag her up in here and traumatize her. It's not going to happen. So with that being said, we have this beautifully functioning, awesome auction, smart contract, everything set up, everything launched, beautiful new UI to go with it, everything. Oh yeah, I'll explain again in a second. You guys have heard a lot of this. Yeah, not good. Of course not. No, I've been explaining this for a week. She was severely beaten and left for dead by an extermination squad in Iran. She went to a crappy shelter where they don't really take care of the dogs. They just warehouse them. And then she spent 18 hours in the cargo hold of a plane with no fucking idea what's going on. And then I adopted her. Brought her over the border. She had another 3-hour car ride and got to my house and was like, what's a fucking house? What's glass? What's people? So the long and the short of it is everything scares her and we're working really, really hard on it. But one of my friends popped in to drop something off and he came in and she saw him and she just hit the deck and pissed herself, which is a pretty standard response. I hate to say it, right? It's a fear thing, especially for girl dogs. It's like girl humans, not quite as much clenching power. So we're working on it and she's been excellent in the house and I'd love to share some more with you guys. We could talk about dogs to be a space filler today as well too. So, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs and we've been together for about a week now, 10 days. This is something, we're laughing about clenching power. We're never going to finish the auction story. We're never going to finish the Seinfeld story. There will not be one cohesive thread of any topic through this show because, again, I don't care. My sorry mug, prominently displayed. But speaking of clenching power, now, I don't happen to have a penis. I'm going to throw that out there. Some of you have been wondering. I don't happen to have one. And so often I wonder about how they work. And so when confronted with said penises, I often ask really ridiculous questions because how else am I going to learn? Men have a longer urethra. Julia knows exactly where I'm going with this. So often when in proximity to a penis, I'll ask really stupid questions. And one of the questions that I asked, and that I've always kind of kept in the back of my head was, hey, Soul Shader Crypto, man, are you new? Because if you're expecting a good technical show today, Kegels are good for the clenching, but it's still not the same, VA. It's just not. If you're expecting a good technical crypto, blockchain, whatever show today, you're not getting it. Just don't worry about it. So it doesn't matter. Women can do tons of Kegels. They can lift little weights with their vagina bits. That still doesn't matter. I've already asked the question, Viking Adventure. And so the question I asked was, so can you guys just pinch the tip? Because I've never really thought about it. because I don't have external genitalia. And Cyber Penis Show. That's right. That's today. And so, I'm looking at it and, ones with foreskin. And I'm like, also, if you have a foreskin, can you just pinch that? And will it fill up like a balloon? I have so many questions. Can you do that? And the answer is, well, yeah, it's not very comfortable, but it does actually work. What do you mean pinch the tip? I mean, literally just grab the hole and hold it shut because you can, because it's there. Just boop. And yes, the balloon thing is real. So anyways, this is what I learned. But these are questions that I've had about about penises. Long and the short of it is, men have that extra penis length of urethra, and they also chat is popping off, lecturing me more about penises. Today's terrible. This show is terrible. I'm gonna get banned from everything, and I accept, because again, today's bitch Crim, and bitch Crim cares about nothing, absolutely nothing. So yes, technically, interesting. See, thank you, Soul Shader. Thank you. I promise, for those of you who are just joining us, next week we will talk about NFT Showroom. We will talk more about smart contracts. We will talk more about beautiful crypto art. But this week, we're talking about whatever kind of comes, and unfortunately, right now, that's dicks. And you know what? It kind of makes sense. That's your fault. So, the reason that this came up is because my dog is a girl. I am a girl. People often wonder how it is that women are a little more likely to pee themselves. This is part of it. So, Bert saw my friend and Bert, oh my gosh. Bert is my last dog. Lulu saw my friend, and her immediate reaction was to pee herself. So yeah, it's really unfortunate. And so she was quite scared. So I was down there, kind of calming her and consoling her, cleaning up the giant puddle of piss in my living room. And then Bob's your uncle, the show kind of got off on the wrong foot. But it turns out that everybody's showing up because talking about dicks and Seinfeld is the way to go. I feel like there's not a whole lot of distinction between the two. Triggering everyone. So yeah, I could talk more about Lou, I could talk more about whatever, but yeah, women, especially women who have babies, like, have some fucking respect. Women, and I don't want one, but women have kids, they stretch out all those muscles, and then they really have to work very hard to get back toyed again. So yes, they can do Kegels. But at the end of the day, we have a little bit less of our physiology working in our favor for holding pee in. Although, it is what it is. Vagina is not urethra. They are two different holes. My goodness, do we have to talk about this on the show? I don't know if I'm ready for a full biology lesson. Holy Hannah. There's a lot. There's multiple holes, friends. Unless you have a dick, in which case, look out. All right, so let's get back on track. What were we doing today? Were we going to attempt anything logical? No, probably not. So, there's literally 3 holes. Wow. I'm going to take another sip of coffee. Let's do that. I feel like I should delete this off every platform. I feel like nobody should be able to see this. Not only for my sake, but for some of you, realistically. So, the long and the short of it is, we're super excited about, the long and the short of it is, today's about dicks. We're super excited about NFT Showroom. We've got so much cool to talk, we've got so much cool stuff to talk about for you guys. And next week, we're going to go over all these new things. We have a Crypto Voxels gallery that's been popping off. Azaria is taking on some cool featured galleries. We have some really neat, exciting things happening. The site looks amazing. Auctions are really exciting for people. Artists are starting more and more to understand that not only can they make an NFT, they can really have it sort of involved in the entire social network all around it. Julia's got the thing in the chat. If you want to go see the Crypto Voxels gallery, you could do it right now. But yes, we're talking about pee coming out of nipples. Pee coming directly out of vagina. If you have a penis, can you literally just hold it shut? Will you have a foreskin water balloon? And many other pertinent topics to the crypto space, and to and to CyberBuzz, which is about disruptive technology and the blockchain and the retro future. So clearly we've checked off all the boxes here today with everything that's being talked about. We've also discussed how men's shirts don't fit women. So if you're watching on the chat, I had to buy this size to fit my tits, but it's got some extra space in it. So we've been talking about that. Overall, today's a write-off, but nonetheless, I will still play some music for you. We will still have some fun. Free speech is awesome. I agree. And that's why we're on the blockchain. That's why we're on the blockchain. That's why many of us have found CyberBuzz. That's why many of us are entering into the crypto space. Artists are saying, hey, fuck you, galleries. I want to be involved in these transactions where I am, trading my art for value, whether that's a token, whether that's, whatever the case may be. Artists have traditionally been so cut out of the earning process, and they've been so pushed around by gatekeeping galleries and sort of the platforms that they use to present their art, that for all of us who are madly in love with the idea of Bitcoin and crypto and blockchain technology and free speech and immutability and, censorship resistance, these topics all kind of merge together. So as much as we joke about this show being trash, which it is, it's always fun. We always usually talk about topics that are relevant. And, then you get days like today. Clay is only showing up because he heard there were dicks up in here. A little bit of shade, a little bit of tea. And we will continue on. So I do want to play some music for you guys. I know for some of you that's going to drive you off. But all joking aside, now that people are kind of finding their way in and filtering their way in, I would love it if you could come back at this time next week, because I do really want to have this NFT showroom show. That was the plan for today, and it will be the plan for next week. When we're I say that like it's everyone's fault. When I'm not a piece of shit. We will, because there's a lot I want to show you guys. We want to bring it in. We want to have music involved. We want to have our, I want to showcase some of our artists. There's lots of things I want to do that I immediately failed with today. So come back next week and it'll be a proper CyberBuzz show. Today is something else. So one of the things that I did actually think about talking about today, was some of the stuff that I've seen going around out here. Let's just kind of come back to the Twitter twat, because there are a lot of artists and crypto people on Twitter, and I fucking hate Twitter. It's not a surprise. I've been very vocal about it. But one of the things that I've been seeing a lot of this week on Twitter is these amazing fights between people who desperately want Twitter to police them, and who don't want to be policed at all but won't leave. And I wanted to know if you have anybody like that on your timeline, because I can't look away. It's like a fucking train wreck. I've got 50% people who are like, oh my God, Twitter, protect me. And 50% people who are like, Twitter, don't touch my shit, but then quite literally will never leave Twitter. And they yell at Twitter in this tiny little vacuum chamber that they've created, like Twitter's gonna give a shit. And I'm so over it. I'm so over it. Shane left. But I guess part of this came up today because, yeah, exactly. I know, Eileen. Part of this came up because in the States, who's the ginger scary chick that runs everything now? Or is the mouthpiece now? She was basically saying that the Biden administration and the US government has started talking with these platforms and is going to be asking them to help take down posts that are problematic. And I'm not 100% sure how to feel about this. I mean, seriously, the one fucking time these earpieces actually work. I happen to touch it, and you get random horse noises because, again, CyberBuzz, a bastion of quality DJing, live streaming, and all of that. Come here to find it. We have random horse noises and we talk about dicks. But yeah, so the White House spokeswoman, whatever. Listen, dicks. It's dicks. It's just dicks. Like, honestly. So, I've seen a lot of this, and I'm quite... Horse dicks, great. I found this quite interesting because here are all these desperate people who are just now realizing that the government has always had a hand in what could be on these platforms or not, but they're just announcing it now and people are quite surprised. And so I always find it really interesting because these crypto people, these, fuck the system people and whatever, they use Twitter and they will not leave Twitter. What do you think? We all watch Crim because we can't do a better job ourselves. I categorically disagree with that, and I would love for all of you to try live streaming because I bet each and every one of you are absolutely fucking delightful, and that you would be incredibly entertaining, and you absolutely should. But I would fully recognize if you don't want to look like this publicly, you don't want people to think of you like this, right? There's a lot of dum-dums. And I'm not saying that interest in cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or whatever requires that you must be absolutely fanatically zealous about saying absolutely not to everything mainstream and popular and big tech. I'm not saying that. But I find it really interesting for these people who are mad as hell and not going to take it anymore, that they're particularly and knowingly and angrily trying to fucking, I don't know, undermine themselves. Hey, Matt, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. Again, also, bad day. You missed the worst of the start of the show. You actually came during the probably most reasonable part of the topic of the day. But frankly, today, all I'm doing is yelling about dicks. Yelling about dicks. You're in the market for a CyberBuzz t-shirt. I have a couple designs. The web store sitting in limbo because I don't know if you've noticed, I'm a very bad live streamer and often things don't get done in the time frame that they need to get done. Normally I would apologize for that. Today, nah. Long silence, coffee sip. But I don't want you to reject everything big tech. But one of the big things that I talk about a lot, stop self-deprecating yourself in an unfunny way. Why not? It's funny. What's not unfunny about that? I suck at it. It's amazing. Nobody else is as slow and terrible as I am. I was on this roll where I was actually keeping up with updating my YouTube videos. I haven't done that in like 4 weeks. Nobody wants to look at them. Nobody's going to click on them. They're fabulous, but nobody's going to go look at them because I just can't get around to it. I have a lot of stuff on my plate. Things like NFT showroom are my priority. Things like helping people understand the blockchain are my priority. But I am going to do a totally shameless plug here now that he's here. Matt's just popped in. Matt Arkey, formerly Y Libertarian, now currently ungovernable. If you want to listen to someone who is, very focused on this aspect, moving away from some of these ridiculous controlling interests, come here. He's got, in fact, if he's paying attention, he should drop some links in the chat right now. He's got a podcast and a live stream that goes in depth into this particular topic, like anarcho-tech, libertarianism, freedom. Me, I cover a little bit of that, a little bit of blockchain, a lot of disruptive technology. Like last week we were talking about a Tesla that immediately lit on fire and went hunting through the suburbs to also murder some people autonomously. And then we played some music from a fucking cyberpunk synthwave opera about exactly that, an insane murderous Tesla. So thank you, Soul Shader. I would love for more people to discover the show. And sometimes, every now and again, with the caveat being that sometimes you're not going to get professional Crim. You're going to get this. Bitch Crim. Bitch Crim. So, what do you guys want to talk about today? I've actually filled an entire hour with nothing. We talked about dicks and how men are slightly less likely to pee themselves. No word of a lie. That was the whole start of the show. We talked a little bit about my dog, and we did talk a little bit, for those of you in the know, we talked a little bit about what's happening with NFT Showroom and the smart contracts around auctions and how we've launched that. Next week, we'll go into that topic in detail. It will be a bright, colorful, artistic, musical celebration. Underboob. Let's talk about underboob. Yeah, it's there. Tits. They hang. It happens. What can I say? With all that completed, we are now sort of in the middle of the show. So I thought I would play some music, and far less entertaining. I disagree. I think knowledge is incredibly entertaining, which is why I love very much this sort of grassroots approach to entertainment. And you know what? This is maybe something that I can ask you guys about, because this is something that a lot of people are struggling with. Radio doesn't exist as radio anymore. And in a lot of cases, people are doing this format. There's side boob is greater than under boob. Really? I mean, I don't know. Both are awkward in the scheme of things as a woman. Most people are into side boob. So strange. And technically, if there's enough side boob that you can see the curvature of the under boob, does that still count as under boob? Do you only like side boob if it's enough side boob that you get under boob? I don't know. I have questions. Questions about dicks. Questions about boobs. But so this is something that a lot of people are struggling with, is this format, video and audio, radio that you watch, but radio that also is interactive, where the live streamer is interacting with the audience and the content is then shaped by the audience and their unnatural fascination with dicks and boobs. I guess it's really natural when you think about it. So this is something that a lot of people are struggling to kind of share and market in a good way. And so one of the people that I look at who's doing this as well and who's doing a great job of it is a guy named Beez, B-E-E-Z. Beez! You like front boobs better. Don't we all? Beez! And the reason that I bring him up is because he is a traditional radio presenter. He came up through traditional radio. And then he discovered Twitch, and then he discovered live streaming, and then he discovered, Spotify and Anchor and distributing podcasts, like many of us here, like Matt, like myself, like people on MSP Waves. And so this is a weird thing, because people who grew up, radio was just that thing in the car or, coming through the speakers in the shopping mall. And, it's full of advertisements and whatever else. It's weird to think of, okay, this is a radio program, but I'm watching it and I'm interacting with it and I'm listening to the audio, but I'm also, it's an interesting dichotomy, because trying to explain to people what this is, for a lot of people, they're like, I don't like it. If they're not already in the live streaming game, they don't like it. And for a lot of people, live streaming legitimately just means camgirling or playing video games. And so this informative video plus podcasting is this growing segment, but most people think of podcasts as audio only. And I'm curious to know, do you guys actually like it? Are you interested in it? Does the video add anything? Is it important to you? I'm curious as to, someday, when I start pushing this, what are the benefits you get from it? What would you call it? How do you interact with it? What's a good take on it? I don't know. I'm fascinated. All right. So while you guys are talking, I'm just going to catch up here because I'm not watching chat like a good person should be. What are these dildos, man? Chat is full of weird, awkward dildos. So Mariana's saying, last week's show you talked about decentralized exchanges. I tried to use them, OpenLedger, but they're really difficult to operate and only have a few users. The liquidity is a problem, and it's annoying if you lose the file because you'll lose your account, so I don't use dexes anymore. Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. And so we did touch on this a little bit, Mariano, but this is a part of the shift, and it's very similar to that Twitter topic. You know, I was saying, hey, people fucking hate Twitter, and they rage against the dying of the light and Twitter, but they stay on Twitter. And there has to be momentum in this exodus. There has to be enough people saying no more. And so it's true for you as an early adopter. There's so many pain points, and a DEX really does rely on other people. What we are very used to is some kind of central, yeah, exactly. Oh, Clay, exactly. Personal responsibility is hard. Govern me, daddy. Yeah. And you know what? That's a learning thing. And you know what? You don't have to feel comfortable being uncomfortable, if that makes sense. That's okay. Admitting like, holy shit, I don't know how to use a DEX. I've never in my life been brought up to think of these things as something that I am capable of managing, nor have I been given the tools to manage. Think about your school and, you know, public education where you're taught to pay. Now, this is going to trigger Matt, but like simple things like, hey, were you taught how to like pay your taxes or how to optimize a tax return so that you have to pay less? No, I go to somebody and they punch in numbers and then I give them my money and then my money goes to the government and then roads. And it's the same thing with everything. We're so used to having some sort of central authority figure or some type of service that makes everything easy. And that's not a bad thing. You shouldn't just say, well, if I didn't grow this tree from a sapling to, you know, my entire life to grow one tree and then cut it down and then fucking whittle that one tree into a spoon, I'm not allowed to eat until I've carved my own spoon from a tree that I grew. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. The whole purpose of human development and technology and community and humans in general is to become more capable. And services exist specifically because we are getting smarter and because we are thinking about the things that we want and we would like to achieve. But which ones you choose do matter. And always moving towards more control for yourself, more knowledge and more control, very important. It's very important. So, you know, when Mariano says, hey, I tried a DEX and it sucked and I was bad at it, that's probably everyone's experience, Mariano. At first, absolutely. Because we are inherently, especially this last couple of generations, we are inherently set up to fail in this way. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not something that we should go for. And it also doesn't mean that you have to cut out every point of convenience and every centralized service in your life. So this is one of those things, and I think it's a problem with crypto Twitter. It's a problem with crypto Twitter. It's a problem with all sorts of groups. And this comes back to, it's tribalism. Humans, tribal gonna tribal. We think that our way is the best way, and we think that everybody else should follow our way. And that's never, never, never going to be taken out of the human psyche. But if we have a chance, if we can look at why do we think the ways that we do things are the best? Why? Just because I'm doing it and I'm great, therefore this thing is great? Not a great reason. So the more that you start inspecting your own choices, and the more that you start saying, well, why am I doing this for myself? Is it because it's really easy? Is it because it fits my ideology? Is it because all my friends are doing it, and if they jump off a cliff, well, son of a bitch, Geronimo. What are the reasonings behind it? And you know what? If you listen to that, if you start examining your own reasonings, you're probably going to find that you're going to look for services that align with your values. You're going to find some centralized services that make your life easier and that you think are worth the cost. And then you're also going to move towards some services that allow you more control and protect you because you want more for yourself. And whatever that journey looks like is good. I'm here to tell you that these people on fucking crypto Twitter who's like, if you're not pulling a tractor with your fucking teeth while you eat your keto diet, while you drink your bulletproof coffee and you trade all of your fiat money for Bitcoin, and you connect to the Bitcoin network via a satellite that you launched yourself and, on a ham radio, while, you're schooling all the plebs who are out there in the street sitting at that establishment drinking a coffee when they really could be drinking, I don't know, my fucking Citadel kombucha. I don't fucking know. Those people suck too. Good God. Clay, I feel attacked. I'm just saying, everybody's journey towards self-sufficiency and everybody's journey to become the best version of themselves and the best version of someone that serves their community while taking care of the ones they love, and also saying, get out my business, that journey's okay. And you know what? If you are not fully convinced by the bullshit being spouted at you by both sides, trust the government. Do everything the government says. Just, quietly enjoy your life and enjoy your fucking rations and your TV shows approved by the government. That's one side of things. And the other side is, only wear clothes you sewed yourself out of fucking recycled fabrics that... Whatever. I'm just saying. I hate most people, is really what I'm saying. It's the reason I like dogs. Mm-hmm. I'm impressed you haven't managed. I'm guessing you mean mentioned. I'm impressed you haven't mentioned Elon Musk yet. 100% fuck that guy. I don't know. I think there's some great things about Elon Musk. I think there's some shitty things about Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk doesn't know who Elon Musk is, and that's totally fine. So no, I haven't mentioned him because I think there's some tech that he makes that's really cool. I think there's some tech that he makes that sucks. And overall, I think he's just a really smart guy who's never been cool for a long time. And now that he has money and he's slowly observing the human race and discovering the formula for comedy and trolling, he's just experimenting with that. You know what I mean? He's not good at being a person. So he's been watching other people for so long, and he has so much money that he can build all the things that fulfill him intellectually. But then now he can also observe the human race and be like, this is what a Dogecoin is. Ha ha! It's all an experiment. He's just, I imagine him as sort of this galactic star being that's trapped here on Earth trying to approximate being a human. And he's not awesome at it, but he's given it his best go in a new galaxy. That's my guess anyways. I don't know. So some things I agree with, some things I don't. This is tribalism again. And crypto Twitter is full of it. You have to hate everything so-and-so says because they have one ideology that doesn't align with mine. Therefore, they're a fucker. Life doesn't work like that, man. That's like the people who say Bitcoin is only used for drugs. Man, people who own firearms are murderers. Man, artists are hippies who are a drain on the system. Man, right? You just can't do it. You can, but if you do, you're a fucking asshole. Elon might be an alien. Matt, tell your wife she's right. My friend group has this love-hate relationship with Elon, where we're like, Elon's going to send us into space. Oh, but he's probably going to harvest our bodies when we get there. That kind of thing. You like screamy Crim? Crim is always screamy, but today I'm screaming. I'm screaming off the cuff, more so than normal. I will say that my shows are never scripted. Ever. I sometimes do preparation and I go, here are the topics I want to hit. Bang, 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 bang. Here's all the images I want to show you and websites. Bang, 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 bang. Here's the music that I'm going to play for you. Bang, 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 bang. And then I improv off that. Days like today, I'm angry. I'm annoyed. I'm confused. And then I yell until all of you are confused enough to believe that I know what I'm doing. I'm giving you the pro tips here. You guys should actually be paying me for this advice. It's so good. The people who might help you when you're down is somebody whose views are the opposite of yours. Life is crazy. Soul Shader, ain't that the truth? That is so true. It's shockingly true. Now, I saw, since you guys brought up Tony Stark and how Elon Musk is the closest we have to Tony Stark, A, you're correct. B, not quite, because Tony Stark is personable. Oh, Clay. One of the things that I thought was really interesting today was I saw a kind of ridiculous thread, and I want you guys' opinions on this. Intellectual Twitter thread, because of course. A big thread about how Tony Stark is the most Russian character that has ever been written. Yes, let's say that again. Tony Stark is literally a caricature of Putin and Russian, like, I guess, financial elite. I saw this. You could go look it up. Go type this into the Twitter twat, the tweet twat. Go look. My monkey type there. Typing. This was a whole, like, argument that was being made based solely on the fact that he has absolutely no regard for anyone who's more poor than him. That he is too rich to die. And I'm like, that's just an elite thing. That's not a Russian thing. That's just an elite thing. But sure, okay. That he's far too rich to die, and that the only important thing in his life is that he does not die, no matter how many bad, terrible, life-destroying, addictive substances he consumes. And that he builds an entire empire based around selling items to an adoring public that destroy them from the inside out and murder the planet. And I'm kind of like, you're probably in America, this person who's writing this. Did you ever think that that's just every corporation out there? Did you ever think that if you had $1 billion that you'd be different? Let's do a thought experiment here for a second, folks. Would you be really Russian? Would you be really Russian? No, we can't say Russian because, I mean, whatever. But if you had just fuck you money, if you had utter fuck you money, and they said, oh, well, you're going to die unless you spend all your money on this crazy robotic whatever. Don't you think you'd do that? And don't you think if you were running a company, even if it was kind of hurting the planet a little bit, but you were making literal fuck you money, that you might slightly be swayed by the possibility of continuing to make that money versus not making that money anymore? I don't know. It's tough. Everybody wants to say, no, I would never be like that. And I'd like to believe I wouldn't be like that. But I also am a realist. And I think that the attitude, you'd make the flying robosuit whether you were dying or not. Yeah, absolutely. You would choose to be a banker. Now that's interesting because you came out of the financial sector. Tell me why, Matt, because that's really... I'd buy an island of dogs and live there till I died. Yeah, agreed. I would be building stuff if I had that much money. Now, Soul Shader, there's the thing. You'd be building stuff. Well, here's Elon going, well, I've always thought space was fucking neat. I'm going to build a big thing that just bores through the earth because digging is cool. I'm going to build a truck that's ridiculous because you know what? Fuck you guys and your truck designs. That's why. I'm going to make it pointy. It's going to look like it's from the 80s. It's also going to be real tough. I'm going to hit it with a sledgehammer. Like, stop and think about Elon's thought process. He's literally just like somebody who's like, I have so much money. I'm going to build a flamethrower and then I'm going to just pretend it's not a flamethrower and I'm going to sell it to people because people probably want a flamethrower. Like, he's literally doing what all of us would do. I hate to say it, so I know we hate him. It's the process. And it's the trappings that go around this stuff that create the parts of Elon and the parts of every, capitalist pig dog that we hate. It's a fascinating thing. It's fucking fascinating. If you gave me billions of dollars and I knew there's no way I could run out, fuck yeah! I'm gonna build a rocket. I'm gonna shoot shit into space. I'm going to build something that just literally, writes my name in the stratosphere. I'm going to dig a big-ass tunnel. Why? Because I can. I get it. What are all the weird things the weird, the weird things that come out of my weird mind that I would then suddenly be empowered to do. That's kind of how I view Elon. That's literally what he's doing all the time, except he's thinking big and strange. Elon is just a slave to Grimes and the U.S. Federal Reserve and the CIA. He has no money, only drugs. Yeah. He's got enough money in his companies to do stuff. That's probably all that really matters. You try to build a Disney competitor just to give them the middle finger. Yeah, Disney is a whole thing. I don't know, man. There's so much stuff that just... Why? Why does any of this exist? And why do we put up with it? But then also, every now and again, they make something cool. And if I like that thing, am I a traitor? Yeah. Tribalism. All right, so maybe, just maybe, let's listen to some music. I mean, I'm going to save a bunch of stuff for next week, because why the fuck not? And let's just see here. Date added. Do I have that? Yeah, why not? So yeah, let's play at least one track today. Let's pretend we actually fucking tried with this show. Let's do the thing and the stuff. And then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about anything. And so for those of you who have play a song, I need to balloon my urethra. I'm pretty sure if you have to go to the bathroom, that the entire point of the whole process is to not balloon your urethra, right? Or are you saying that you're ballooning right now because you've been pinching the tip so that you don't pee yourself, so you don't miss any of this quality entertainment that I am providing today? I have so many questions. Gabe, tell us about your urethra. Fuck. All right. I am going to play... You've drank like 7 beers. Good God, you must be the ballooniest. I'm going to play something that I haven't played in a while. I'm going to play a track by Absolute Valentine. Yeah, shout out to the YouTubers who are just kicking it and aren't getting a chance to talk. I'm sorry, dudes. I'm sorry. I suck. I didn't connect it. I see you. I mentioned this at the start of the show. I literally started the streaming 2 minutes till showtime, and I did not hook up the YouTube chat. I'm trash. Everything is trash. Today's show is trash. Come back next week. Pretend this never happened. Take good care of your urethra in the meantime. I'm going to play something by Absolute Valentine. It's a track called Extreme Drift. It's extra fucking 80s. It is a perfect encapsulation of Outrun, which is a part of the synthwave genre. Outrun being the idea of being in a Lambo on the beach with the fucking wind going through your killer, mullet and your big ass shades and the lasers and whatever. The idea of in the 80s, everybody was driving fast cars. They had places to be. Everything was a chase scene. It's that kind of retro music. I'm going to play a little bit of that. Extreme Drift. My name is Crimson Clad. This show, believe it or not, actually doesn't suck. Today, write off. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about NFT Showroom. We're going to talk about all of the new features. We're going to talk about art and artists, musicians, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the other sort of art environments available in VR, including our crypto voxels that's attached to NFT Showroom, but also some of the programs that exist, and one that in particular I'm really fascinated by that I want to share with you guys, that is a VR painting program that's really, really cool. And I'm starting to see it popping up that people are using this particular program to create NFTs that they are selling in the wider crypto art market. So we have this sort of convergence of all the things that this show is normally about. We've got disruptive technology in terms of, blockchain and NFTs and the idea of tokens and the idea of cryptocurrency payments and VR and sort of completely creating and experimenting without a physical media at all. Absolutely nothing. There's no paint, there's no paper, there's nothing at all. And yet, sort of how engaging and engrossing and realistic and how beautiful the results are. So I want to talk about some of that. And that'll be next week. This week, you just get piss balloons, I guess. There you go. It's off a fucking killer album by Absolute Valentine. It's called Police Heartbreaker, which is basically the plot of every 80s, like 80s style outrun movie ever, right? The the Police Heartbreaker. I'm assuming it's like starring, like, I don't know, Tom Selleck or fucking The Hoff, or I don't know. I watch a lot of 80s movies, but all right. So hey, welcome. It's CyberBuzz, but not really. It's just it's a disaster today. It's a disaster today. Started with the best intentions, end up completely terrible and the worst. So the long and the short of it is, today got thrown off by working with the new dog, and I know you guys are totally sick of hearing about it, and I apologize. But that's gonna be my life for a while, right? You don't invite a human or an animal to share your home and your family with you, and then just be like, they'll figure it out. That's not how this works. So the show got off on the wrong foot. For the people who are watching on the YouTube, who usually chat from the YouTube, your chat is fucked. I apologize. You're going to have to chat through one of the other platforms. For the people who are watching on Twitch, you can chat. For the people who are watching on Trovo, you can also chat. For the people watching on Theta, you can chat. For the people who are watching in the Discord, listening in the Discord, you can chat. It's just you, YouTube. It's not me, it's you. It's kind of me, but it's mostly you. So that's fine. But yeah, so today's planned topic of NFT Showroom and all the cool things that we're building and all of the stuff that we're so excited about and kind of sharing all this stuff with you, that went out the window. So people want to talk more about Lou. Yeah, sure. I mean, what did you guys have in mind? What are you... What are you most interested in about Lou? These are the questions. So I'm gonna grab a link here, and I will do this. Let me just see here quickly. Let me grab my big thing of photos here. But yeah, if you have questions, let me know, and I will try to answer them. But otherwise, any progress on becoming a dog again? I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's tough. I mean, think about people that you know who struggle with either socialization or PTSD or whatever. You have good days and you have bad days. People with depression, people with trauma, people with just having a bad day. John just farting into the void here. It's a normal thing, right? Like, you have really good moments and then you have backslides. And so, you know, the things that she's becoming very confident with are Murphy, and with the household, and with the walks that we do, and with, you know, things like car noises. The first day, like, any car that would go by, she'd hit the deck. Now she doesn't fucking care. Same sort of thing. Like, she's terrified of people, but if we pass them on the street, she'll turn around and kind of look at them like, hey, what's up? So, you know, she's, in a lot of ways, she's doing really amazingly. But it's just, there's going to be so many backslides. It's going to be crazy. But it's quite cute. I see things like this all the time. Like, I was out watering my lawn. And again, for you guys watching on YouTube, you get a little bit fucked. And I'm sorry, I don't know how to make this work. But I see tons of things. Tons of things like this. Let me see if I could switch over one sec. I'm gonna test something and see if I can show you guys what's on the screen right now. Oh yeah, here we go. Except my camera's upside down. One second. Transform. Can we fix this? And then I'll switch over. So 1 second. Let's try flip it vertical. Nope, that's not gonna work. Let's try. This is what being a professional streamer is like. Okay, so there you go. So here she is. Here's an image from, and sorry, the overlay sucks. Deal with it. I don't care. But yeah, here's the an image. I was out watering my garden, and I looked up, and she was watching me through the window. She's just like, oh, hey, what's up? And then Murphy came to join her. I don't know if you can see here. So, you know, like, good and bad. She has a lot of good days. She has a lot of bad days. I don't know what else is in here. Let's just see. Oh, here you go. Look, here's Lou. So, I mean, when she's feeling good, she's feeling really good. And she's a beautiful girl. If you kind of take away the fact that she's fucking disgusting. So for those of you without backstory, I adopted her from Iran, actually. She smells terrible. Her fur is matted. It's full of crap. I don't even want to know what some of this stuff is. Her ears have never been cleaned. Her nails are so long that her toes actually are like all fucked up because they're so long. All hail Satan has followed. That's fantastic. I fucking love that. That's amazing. Thanks, man, I guess. So yeah, I mean, she's going to be, you didn't bathe her? No, she would probably rather die. PZ, this whole thing, let's talk about this quickly. If you've never been in rescue, that's fine. I mean, honestly, it's not for everyone. That's totally cool. But for a lot of people, like a dog that you get from a great home, from a good breeder, from even a pet store or whatever, like one of these, almost any animal that comes from one of those environments is socialized. They don't know fear. They're fed well. They are the 5 freedoms, you know, free from pain, free from hunger. They have shelter. They have exercise. They have love. Like, they have all those things. Rescue, they don't always have those things. And so basically your entire time with whatever animal you've rescued really comes down to consistently just hoping that you don't trigger something that sets their headspace off. And that's fine. But it's just, if you expect to rescue a dog and that you're immediately going to be able to hug it and love on it and snuggle it and whatever, bro, it's just not going to happen. That was 4 freedoms. What's the 5th? Here, I'll find it for you. The SPCA, 5 freedoms. But there are 5. And love is literally one of them. Freedom to express behaviors. Here you go. I will drop them in the chat because everybody wants to know what they are. Freedom from hunger and thirst, freedom from pain, injury, and disease, freedom from distress, freedom from discomfort, freedom to express behaviors that promote well-being. These are very important in rescue. They're also very important for humans. You can argue that the 5 freedoms are quite literally a guideline to freedom in general. If you are in love with crypto, if you are in love with disruptive technology, if you are in love with animal rights, if you are in love with human rights, if you just want to live your best life, the 5 freedoms are a perfect roadmap. Freedom from hunger and thirst, freedom from pain, injury, and disease, freedom from distress, freedom from discomfort, freedom to express behaviors that promote well-being. So, freedom from distress tends to be looked at as other people's actions upon you. So when we talk about freedom from distress in a rescue sense, we talk about it as, you know, not being in a situation where the actions of people around you are going to be making you, I guess, distressed. I was going to say making you distressed. That's a stupid thing. It's a stupid thing to say. But the reality is there's pain. There's pain and injury and disease. But there's a lot beyond pain. There's a lot of things that can be done to you by someone or something that don't necessarily cause you physical pain in the sense that we know of, like, ow. But that doesn't mean that you're not in distress. You don't have to be physically harmed to be in distress. And that's the reason that it's there. Freedom from discomfort. While distress and discomfort sound two similar things, they're actually different. So freedom from distress talks a lot about somebody else's outside actions upon you. Is that a government? Is that an oppressive regime? Is that somebody trying to harm you in a way that isn't literally, I'm going to stab you, but I'm going to gaslight you, I'm going to turn your community against you, I'm going to force you into a situation that you're not comfortable with? That's what freedom from distress means. Freedom from discomfort, while it sounds similar, is actually more to do with housing. So freedom from discomfort in an animal sense or a rescue sense is we don't leave them out in the sun. We don't chain them up. We don't, John, we don't, make them sleep on a bed of nails or whatever the case may be. So freedom from discomfort talks a lot about your environment. And, in this case, it would be, did somebody fucking knock your house over? I mean, are you being forced to work in an environment that is uncomfortable? Like, sort of the physical aspect of your ability to live and exist in an environment. Largely, we consider this one, hey, do you have a fucking roof over your head? And then, freedom to express behaviors that promote well-being is really important in animal rescue, but arguably you could tie it back to humans or you could tie it back to a lot of sort of tech movements and things as well. But when we talk about it in rescue, freedom to express behaviors that promote well-being. If you adopt an animal and you bring it into your home and it has natural behaviors that you try to stop, you can actually be harming that animal's well-being, right? So when we think about a rescue dog who, you know, is chained up all the time. This is a big one. Chaining is really oh God, I just realized, look at this, there's shit on the screen from when I pulled up the 5 freedoms to copy for you guys. Let's go back to this. There. Sorry guys, I'm terrible. Let's fix it. So in this case, when we talk about the freedom to express behaviors that promote well-being, dogs and cats don't stay in a crate all day. You know, that's like a big one. Or, you know, we don't declaw cats. You're literally cutting off their fucking finger bones because you don't like the fact that maybe they scratch sometimes. We don't put shock collars on dogs because we don't want them to bark. These are behaviors that they innately have as part of their being, and it's important. That's what makes them mentally healthy. So how do you work with them in a way that they can still be themselves? Now, isn't that what we want for people too? Sepson, spank you, you're late. Dude, you know, you missed piss balloon talk. We talked a lot about urethras. What else did we talk about it? That's about it. You're caught up. Wah, wah. Yeah, no, don't worry. Today is not a good show. You missed absolutely nothing important. But if for whatever reason you want to watch this again in the future, replays are available on Vim TV. They are available on YouTube, and they are available on Twitch for a little bit. But frankly, who cares? There's nothing good about this show. So right now, we've actually completely journeyed off sideways, and we've been talking about the new rescue dog. And talking about sort of her mental well-being and whatnot. And we've actually kind of wandered into the territory of the 5 freedoms, which is an important sort of rescue. Aww, yes! That's still a lie, but I'm going to take it. Flattery gets you everywhere. But so the reality is a lot of these 5 freedoms actually come back to us, and they can be applied to people in every sort of way. They can be applied to the relationship between a people and their community, a people and their family, their tribe, a people and their government, a people in the workplace. Like, there's almost no situation where you can't take these 5 freedoms and apply them and say, okay, well, this is this is what freedom is. This is what being a conscious, sentient, being is. This is what being alive is. These 5 freedoms are what make me different than a rock. Arguably, even a tree has these freedoms. But, I mean, it is what it is. So, if you guys want to keep talking about Lou, we can. The Fist of Freedom? No, I do not, actually. In this case, definitely not, because we're talking about my abused dog. So, if you guys want to talk more about Lou, we can. If you want to move on and talk about other stuff, then we can too. But basically, she's here, she's doing okay. We have good times, we have bad times. Such is life. This is life. I took her down to the river, and she saw the water for the first time, and she was fairly interested in that. And we actually talked about on Full Force Radio on Thursday, we talked about how she's kind of a really badass dog because she's part Kangal, which is, I learned, one of the dogs that has, like, per pound, the hardest bite in the world, regardless of size. And they breed them to basically be able to fight wolves because in the case of, like, Turkey and the... Oh, thank you. They do take time. They take a lot of time. And they take the time that I need to be preparing a show while they are panic pissing themselves. And then you have to clean it up and help calm them down and get them situated again. And then realize you're late for your live stream. And then show up to your live stream in a tizzy. And then don't do any of the live stream that you plan to do. And then end up talking to people about pinching the tip of your dick so your foreskin turns into a piss balloon. Rescue. So, Ailstorm. No, not today. That's it, Sepson. Just wants to be fucked by an anchor. So the long and the short of it is, I don't know. But she's an Anatolian shepherd, and I was so scared I farted. Yeah, and actually, it's so true. And for a while there, when I first got her here, her diet from Iran, they feed them whatever they have, right? Like the shelter that she was in fucking sucked. And I don't mean to throw shade on people who are trying to help, but the shelter fucking sucked. And whatever they were feeding her was not good for her stomach. And so for the first few days, yeah, she was explosive pooping everywhere, which is gross. Like there's no there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. But she also, as she was moving around the house, like she was struggling to kind of keep that in. And so, you know, she was kind of like she'd have these little gassy poots kind of coming out of, and up and down the staircase especially. You know, she'd run upstairs and it'd be like up the stairs. Yeah, Discord chat is way better. Welcome. So yeah, I mean, we're through the poop explosion period, but I suspect there'll be more. But I don't have any. I was taking a look, but I don't have any images of what the what the shelter looked like. This is an image from the shelter. Let me flip back over one sec here. This is an image. Oh, of course, it's the wrong one here. Okay, so I have the picture of her in the water up. There you go. There's a picture from her in the water, which is very cool because she's learning. She's never seen a river in her life. She lived in a really shitty little shelter and in the streets. But let me just see if I can do this, since everybody's checking it out and watching now, and I'll copy and paste this picture into the chat too for people who aren't watching. The shelter is literally chain link in the desert. With their houses are made out of like cinder blocks, and if they're lucky, they will get a rug. So she spent most of her days just laying in a dirt cage, covered in fucking bugs, and that's sad. So, you know, I fell for it. I totally fucking fell for it. For those of you who are watching, let's just see here. There you go. So there's the same picture that's in chat right now. Yeah, it sucks, but you know what? This is not an Iran thing. Wherever you live, please trust me, locally there are animals that need your help, and if you don't want to rescue, you don't have to rescue. It's not a big deal. Whomever is in your family, whether they are a pet, whether they are a fish, a reptile, a cat, a dog, a child, an old person, a spouse, a best friend, a roommate, take care of people around you, because they'll take care of you, and you will be much enriched for the relationship. So there you go. But yeah, the long and the short of it is I've learned a lot about it, and it sucks. It definitely sucks. And we will probably have a lot of backslides, and there will probably be lots of trouble yet to come. Yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to tell you. So even now, like sometimes she's really excited about things, and then she'll look at me and be like, oh shit, and be really terrified because she remembers I'm there after she forgot. But she's a good dog, and she's going to be an awesome dog. So I'll leave you guys with this one, and then I'll switch back over, and maybe we can listen to some more music again or whatever. Let me quickly fix this up, and I'll show you one more image, and then we can move on to more cyberbuzzy things. So there you go. She's going to be awesome when she finishes up. How old is she? 4-ish? They thought 2. Yeah, you can listen through the Discord if you want. You don't have to watch a video. You don't have to see my face. Yeah, pretty close steps in. Yeah, she's... I finally had somebody who speaks Farsi look at her documents, and they figure she's about 4. So she's about as big as she's going to get. She will probably fill out now that I'm actually feeding her like a real dog. So she's pretty big, and she will probably get bigger. Like I said, she's part Anatolian shepherd, so she's got that big fucking neck ruff, which is literally there because they're meant to protect sheep in the fields. That's why these dogs were bred, and they're really common across the Middle East, through parts of Europe, through places like Turkey and sort of all of these countries where obviously out tending a flock is a very important aspect and part of life, and wolves just decide to come around and eat your fucking sheep. Well, you get a big angry dog that has a giant neck ruff so you can't rip their throat out, and who has the strongest bite in the world. So, you know, there she is. She's a beaut. Okay, so let's flip back and let's try and salvage at least some part of this show. We'll give it an effort. I don't know if it is, but yes, time for her to thick up for sure. It's not really a wattle in the sense of like it's because she's fat or whatever, but yeah, it's technically a wattle, a big flap of empty thick skin here to protect her. Very long tail, and yeah, when she's happy it curls up in a circle. It's a Spitz type tail. It's the same sort of thing. She has a tail, but it will tighten up into a little a little thing that can't be bitten or whatever. So what do you guys think? I haven't played music in a while, and we're going to pretend that today is a music show. We're going to pretend that at least there's something valuable to this. I haven't played laser punk in a while. Do you guys want some laser punk? I always play Black Lambo because it's not really synthwave, but it's just like the most freedom and crypto and firearms enthusiast and devil may care kind of attitude. And I always think, whenever I think of a Lambo, I think of Captain Dan. Holy crap. I'm thinking of Captain Jack. He died on a dance floor in Ibiza somewhere. Hey, Bonehead. Today's a shit show. It's not a good show. Caveat has to be made to everybody joining. But yeah, I'm going to play you guys a laser punk track. Literally, that's just about going out and causing trouble in the night with your shotgun and your Lambo. Because why the fuck not, right? It's CyberBuzz. Today's a write-off. Come back next week. It'll be good then. Today, nah. But this is good music, so we can start with that.
This is a certified Hive classic.
Guys, I'm a retard. Better? Better. You guys don't like watching me bob my head in silence? Bad DJ is bad. I'd say I'm sorry, but at this point, who fucking cares?
To the black Lambo.
most spectacular meme I've ever seen. And so as such, we will, and I mean, every week there's a new spectacular meme because you guys are much more talented than I am. So while we are doing the thing, let's just pop that bad boy up on the screen because I feel like that encapsulates absolutely everything that is happening right now. So let's just throw that right in here. And 1 second, for those of you watching the overlay, let's throw ourselves over here. Let's make a new source, because fuck you, that's why. Let's add a new image. Let's call it Sorry Not Sorry. And let us choose that magical little thing. Let's find it. Where is it? Where are you, mug? Where are you? What did I do? Where did I save it? Friends. This is such a pain in the ass. So, anything else you guys want to talk about today, please let me know. We will make a strong effort to cover it and and try to make at least something out of today's show. Crim, sorry, for whatever reason, it didn't work. 1 sec here. For whatever reason, it doesn't want to save as a GIF. So, there's a funny name on your file there, Mariano. So let's see if we can fix it. Crim, sorry, mug.gif. Save.gif if you're one of those fucking people. All right. So for those of you watching on the overlay, let's see if we can actually get this bad boy to show up. Can we do it? We can. There she... Oh, it doesn't move. It's much worse when it doesn't move. All right, I'm going to work on trying to make this work. But for now, I'm putting it here. There we go. Ah, there we go. Sorry about it, bitches. Okay, so it's all shut down. It's all just gone to... It's all gone to hell. This has to be one of the funniest streams you've been to in quite a while. Well, thank God for that. And you came for the tail end of it, which has been absolutely atrocious. But we did attempt to talk about some good things today. Very, very briefly. And with like varying levels of success. We did want to talk a little bit about sort of what's happening with NFT Showroom, with our fun and wacky hijinks that are happening with our tiny little mistakes that were made with the contract. And so for a lot of people who might just be tuning in, basically what it is a timing mistake. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the contract as it is, but it does mean that one of the styles of auctions we were considering, the timer from it was included in the smart contract for auctions. And what that means is there's a timer that shuts things down after 24 hours if you don't have a bid. And that's crummy. That's crummy. So that'll be fixed in the next couple days. And everything's good. Yeah, you do need to stop assuming that everyone's from the USA. I'm not even from the USA. You may have noticed in my sorry mug, if you were watching on the display, check out what's on the inside of it. Because sorry, that's what it is. Right? Canadian. And if you're not watching anymore, there's a maple leaf, there's a little maple leaf on the inside of the mug to remind you, Canada's just USA light. I would agree and I would disagree. We're definitely our own thing. We're our own version of stupidity. And also, part of the reason that we are our own version of stupidity is because we have this really stupid and undeserved, like, as long as we're better than the Americans. And so unfortunately, the longer we think that we're better than the Americans, the more our own brand of stupidity grows. We feed our own stupidity, and it's growing into a monster. We feed our stupidity your stupidity. And the smug sense of superiority that our stupidity gets from your stupidity actually turns us into a monster. It's bad. It's bad and it's real bad. So for those of you who haven't completely gone to sleep and who aren't fake newsing and who just are here to watch the world burn because I'm a terrible streamer and today's plans got thrown right off, we had a brief human body sex ed conversation. We talked about how Seinfeld, worst show in the world, and how the Beatles are crap. What else did we talk about? See, that's it. That's everything we talked about. But I've only got about 20 minutes left in the show. So with all jokes aside, if you're watching just because you watch Crim, that's awesome. I love you. Please come back to another show and I will make it up to you. You can, I don't know, get notifications from wherever it is that you're watching now. If you're in the Discord, you can use the subscribe command and get notifications that way. But if you're someone who's watching on MSP Waves, you're listening on MSP Waves, you're watching on one of the station sites like Theta or Vim, whatever it is. Okay, fair enough. It's no longer that hot, but you want to watch something burn. Yeah, well, that's my life, isn't it? Did you seriously both just level up back to back? Fuck my life. But so, yeah, if you are just listening on the station, what I would highly recommend is that you check out the full schedule. You can go to mspwaves.com. M as in monster, like I was saying. S as in stupidity, like I was saying. MSP. Go to mspwaves.com/schedule, and you'll find all the other streamers who are just as good as I am, if not better, and arguably are much better. And later on today, you could come for Loud and Proud, which is a really fun sort of chit-chat show with Uncle Bonehead, who's come and gone, and this new girl and Johnny Gearjammer. And they have a fun kind of off-the-rails chat show. So if you've enjoyed this, if you've enjoyed the train wreck of today, then you will probably enjoy the truck wreck of Loud and Proud. And then later this evening, Clay and Cope do philosophy, coffee and philosophy. And they just take a topic and they run with it. And they wax philosophical. And it's a great show. There's lots of much more intellectual talk than today. But if you have kind of enjoyed some of the aspects of today's show, like where we were talking a little bit about some of the some of the tribalist ideals and some of the things that drive us towards convenience and centralized services, and sort of some of the philosophy that we have touched on in today's show, including the 5 freedoms, then you will probably enjoy coffee and philosophy, and you should come back for it tonight. And yes, please come back to my shows next week when I promise I will care again and I will not disrespect your time like I have today. I appreciate that many of you do find it hilarious. That is my only goal. On days where things are so bad, the only thing I have to fall back on is sometimes I'm funny. So I appreciate that you guys actually think that, or at least that you let me think that you think that. And I appreciate on the days where we do have really good shows that you guys want to come back as well. So, you know, it is what it is. So I'm going to take some shots. Yeah, if you can't laugh with me, for the love of fuck, please laugh at me. And I say that very truthfully, because sometimes you don't even laugh at me, you just troll me, and then I'm sad. I tell you what, being a live streamer is a fucking trip. It's a trip, kids. That's one. Give me a second for 2. Yeah. No, I didn't say you specifically. I am saying it has happened. I've had some great shows with, like 50 or whatever people listening or watching or engaging, and all of those people just all pile on at once, and I'm just like, my skin, It happens. It really does happen. Okay, so chat is play Wicked Game. Yeah, right. You know what? I don't think I've looked for a synthwave Wicked Game, but I guarantee you it does exist. So maybe someday I actually will. The other thing I was going to bring up was a bunch of the new synthwave albums and synthwave synthwave help, the things that we used to go to in the before time, shows, concerts, because real life in-person concerts are happening again, which is pretty fucking cool. And lots of them are still being live streamed. And I think this is something that's going to stick around. If you want to find a puntagram, it's 5 pews, makes a puntagram. One of the things that I am hoping that sticks around from this whole bloody shit show of, terrible, terrible lockdown period is yeah, I've gone I've gone completely full circle and I've completely forgotten what a concert is that live streaming and bands that are kind of working in sharing performances on the internet, they're worried that if people can see a live stream, they won't buy real tickets, which obviously we've discovered is not the truth. And that a lot of people will pay for great live streams, couple bucks here and there to be able to watch a live stream. I hope that continues. I hope that bands start realizing that even once they get back into a physical concert, that they absolutely should be sharing that wider and wider and further and more beyond. Oh, it's been so long since I've been caught in a wall of death, Trinkowski. Oh my God. And I was supposed to go to Tuska this year, and Tuska was fucking canceled again. So 2022, I will be in Finland for Tuska. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. I'll be fine. Yeah, that's a stout boy, Sepson. All right, so yeah, people pay more than that for live streams on OnlyFans, but there's lots of these bands now who are like, pay $1 or $2, pay $5, pay what you want, and watch a live stream. I hope that doesn't go away. I don't want that. I don't want that to go away. I want that to continue, and I think it will. I think venues are really going to be interested in that as well. Hey, we can't fit more than X amount of tickets. It's a sold-out show, but you can still watch. You know, there's huge benefits to this, and I hope it continues. So, did I hear correct? Yeah, I've been saying this for ages because I actually was supposed to go to Finland last year. Last year, I bought my Tuska tickets. Last year. Well, I bought them in 2019. I bought Tuska tickets in 2019 to go to 2020 Tuska in Finland. And so I actually want to go to Finland in the winter. That's my goal. I want to go in like the late fall and winter and, you know, take photos and tour around like I normally do. If you read my content, if you read my blogs, if you see my photography, that's my jam. But Tuska is the world's foremost metal festival. Tuska literally translates to pain. It is the most incredible and awesome and fabulous, like, the DC area in the USA. I don't do as much traveling in the USA. I'm kind of saving it because I kind of want to see the world before it all gets. Tuska versus Wacken, Tuska hands down. I'm going to go to Wacken one day. I'm going to do Rock am Ring. I'm going to do, you know, Hellfest and Bloodfest and everything. But if I had a choice, what if we're locked down then? Then I guess I won't. Because it's not really about going. It's about, are they going to do this fucking outdoor concert? If we're locked down and Tuska gets fucking canceled again, then I can't go to Tuska. I can go to Finland, but I can't go to Tuska. But so long story short, bought the tickets in 2019. Bucket list goal. Gonna do summer. It's gonna be amazing because I'm gonna go to Finland twice. I'm gonna go once for the festival and then once for me just touring around Finland. So Tuska in 2019, they're like, whoa, 2020 is canceled. So I'm like, fuck. You can actually do both if you're asking. You can have a refund if you want it, or you can hold on to your tickets for the next year. So I held on to my tickets. Well, 2021, they're like, yes, it's happening. It's going to happen. No, it's not happening. Boo. So again, my tickets have been pushed off for another year. So yeah, this has been in the works since 2019. 2022, let's do it. It's going to happen. So that's it. All right. So with that being said, we are down to just a few minutes left in the show, and I am I am amazed. Maybe in 2025. Yeah, I don't know. See, the tough thing is Finland is quite progressive, and it's quite small, and you know, it's it's statistically and population-wise small enough that you can actually statistically prove that Finland may or may not exist. And so that's one of those things that is, well, and you know what? I'd argue that some of you guys might not be happy with Finland's brand of progressiveness. So it is what it is. But it is so, their population size is so small, and as a percentage of the rest of the world, you can use math, because math's a fucker. Like Azaria would say, math is a fucker. You can use math to actually statistically prove that Finland may or may not exist within the confines of the scientific method. You know, within the acceptable control of error and a margin of error, you can prove that Finland may or may not exist. It might not actually exist. But the long and the short of it is, Maybe I'll get to the metal festival next year. Maybe. Root for me, guys, because if I go, you guys will get to see it. I'll live stream from there. It'll be fucking amazing. It'll be the best thing. But let's just see. Does Giphy have any Tuska gifts? No, absolutely none. That's bullshit. I'll find some for you. So we have less than 10 minutes left in the show. So few things outside of America exist. Ain't that a good point? And I owe you guys a second shot. I'm going to be a disaster. But most of the show's over, so you won't know. Okay. So we could play one more song before the show is up. And I usually close with Gunship or Carpenter Brute, but it's just because those are like the classic, most amazing things. And I thought, you know what? If we're going to go for like super classic, old school style stuff, we could play some Kavinsky. Is that the same bottle from Thursday? Yeah. I keep one in my office. It never leaves this room. It's just here for shows. And it usually takes me a while to power through them. I have a bar downstairs in my living room where I make cocktails and stuff, or I have my spirits. This is just the office bottle. Sorry. Math's a fucker. Okay, bye. Heart. Peace out. All right. Let's just see. So I'm going to play... Do I have enough time to play you guys some Dan Terminus? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to play you guys some Dan Terminus from one of my favorite albums. You can't really see it, but it's up there. It's called Automatic Refrains. It is fucking beautiful. It's so cool. You should check out everything that he does because it's fucking awesome. I'm going to play you a track called Fall of the Ancient World, and then I'll be back to say goodbye and just, we'll, tip of the hat. The big fucking crook will come and yank me off the stage, and this will be over. Danzig? Danzig. You were talking about that high school guy vibe. That's what Danzig is for me. All right, Fall of the Ancient World, Dan Terminus, fucking awesome synthwave artist. Highly, highly, highly recommended. Here you go. I have to cut it off because it goes into the next song. This, if you have not checked out Dan Terminus, I highly recommend check out all of his music. It's the best. It's fucking awesome. It's not just synthwave. It's electronic. It's sci-fi. It's experimental. He's incredibly influenced by, you know, death metal and metal bands and French experimental music and fantasy and sci-fi. He's just a really incredible artist, and I highly, highly, highly recommend you check it out. But that album, like I say, you can't tell, but if I'm looking at the camera, it's this one right here, just out of the frame. And it is a fantastic album. It's worth listening start to finish, and it's good shit. So we have come to the end of the show. If you made it all the way from start to finish, you are an animal. I started the day, honestly, didn't even want to do the show. Kind of just off my game. And the show that I promised you guys went right out the window. Part of that is just circumstances this week. One of the most wonderful and horrible things about being an individual in a decentralized environment on a team of fantastic people all around the world building cool things based solely on our own passions is that not everything is going to be right the first time. But one of the most amazing things is everything we've built is... it's awesome. It's resilient. It has been exciting. It has been a learning experience, and through it all, everything that we have built, even when it's broken, has been a first of its kind, both around the Hive blockchain and just something that proves that we can do the things that we want. We can make them happen through sheer force of will. So this time next week, auctions should be fixed. This little timer blip will be fixed. And at the end of the day, funds are seifu, art is happening, the world is still turning, and you are still here. So, come back next week. The shows will suck less. Maybe. And hopefully I will get to share more cool things with you. CyberBuzz is normally not like it was today, but a little bit of change is good every now and again. Go to mspwaves.com/schedule to find my shows and other people's shows, but otherwise, come back later tonight for more entertainment. Bye. I hope you have